Hey, what is going on everyone? This is going to be a pretty quick video today, just going on AFL Evo 2, and we're going to talk about my sliders and things, camera settings, whatever. Just some of the stuff people have been asking about, and I figured it'd be easier to just put it all into one video for you to view. So first things first, let's go to the options tab. No, first thing we'll do, we'll go to graphics. I've got all of these turned off. I think it slightly improves frame rate a little bit, or at least it feels like it improves the frame rate a little bit. So definitely you want to turn those off if you want the smoothest experience, especially on console. So get that out of the way first. Then other people have been asking me the question how to get the count up clock. That one is just going into visual and getting timer direction as count up continuous. Not this one that says count up, that just goes from 0 to 20. Count up continuous, the best way to get the unknown match time sort of going on like you would if you were at the game. And I've seen some people say that they're having issues with the scoreboard. They're not able to see the scoreboard on their TV. The resolution's a bit different, or it's off, or something like that. What you want to do is make sure this HUD overdraw mode is switched to on. I think it's turned off by default, but make sure that's turned on, and you should be able to see your scoreboard and everything properly now. Anyway, there's a bunch of settings in here you can keep on or off, completely up to you. I like to turn the goal kick quality off, but if you want to keep using it, feel free to do that. Next, we're going to go through my camera settings. It's not too different to, I guess, this default camera. I've kind of just changed the zoom and the height a little bit. That's basically it. It's not a dramatic change from the default side mid. Hopefully we're going to get some more camera options in an upcoming update, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So this is what I've got at the moment, and that works for me. That's what I use in my videos. Some people like it, some people don't. They prefer end-to-end, they prefer play direction or dynamic. Again, completely up to you on the camera options as to what you want to do. And finally, we go into gameplay. We're going to go to the sliders to show you what I've customized. Here, obviously, base difficulty we've got up to legend, and then this is sort of what I changed from that. So I leave a lot of the stuff at the default. You can sort of fiddle around with it if you want to. The first thing you'll notice I've changed is the run speed. I've got that down to 30. It does just slow the game down a little bit, because I feel like sometimes it can be obviously a little bit too quick, and it'll just give you a bit of a better flow from the basic game as well. It's just turning that run speed down. And I've also got the smothering down as well, because sometimes you can see the players sort of run off a fair way from their man to go and smother the ball, and you're like, well, nobody really reads the play that well. So I've just turned it down a little bit. You can turn it down further if you want, if you think that that's going to be something that will improve your gameplay as well. And like, I like to leave the rest of this stuff sort of default as well, especially with the endurance and fatigue rate, because the stamina system changed between Evolution 1 and 2 in terms of how fatigued players get. They actually get a fair bit more fatigue, so otherwise I would probably be increasing these a little bit, but I'm happy to leave those all at the default settings for now. The next ones I kind of changed as well is the tackle distance, the hip and shoulder distance, and then the injury side of things, and they're mostly a career-based stuff that I sort of wanted to focus on there. But with the tackle distance and the hip and shoulder distance, I turned those down. So obviously the less the number, the shorter the tackle distance is, the closer you have to be to actually tackle the player. So this again is sort of just to give that essence of a bit more time, as well as a little bit more space, so that the guys aren't like jumping on you from a fair distance away, and that way it does maybe give a little bit more of an opportunity to get the handballs off. You can of course turn these down even more if you want to, but these are just the settings that I've got it for. And with the umpiring, the only one I've changed is throwing the ball. I think I turned it down a little bit as well, because it gets paid maybe a fraction too much for my liking. The rest, all default. Now we're going to go to the computer, and at the moment I've changed quite a bit on this one, because obviously you want the AI to be as strong as possible, especially on legend difficulty, and obviously one of the biggest things that you'd notice by playing the game at this stage of it is that the AI's goal kicking is not very good. They can sometimes be very good, but they can sometimes be absolutely awful, missing from like 10-15 meters out directly in front. So I've upped it a little bit here just to see that it makes enough of a difference to not be stupidly broken. We could probably even up this one even more, just because we want them to actually be accurate at a close range, and set shots even as well. We want them to be good, but we don't want them to be stupidly overpowered. So that's why I've adjusted this slider as well to be about 60 for that one there. Marking's all the same. Rucking I've actually increased by 5 points, so this just boosts the AI rucking sort of value a little bit, because I felt like they were losing too many ruck contests, even on Legend difficulty. I was winning the hit out sort of, 20 to 2 or something like that. Whereas even just adding like a +5 here, it was sort of making it a bit more even, and they were actually, it was pretty even with the ruck contest. Like there's sort of like 20-19 now rather than like, 30 to 2 or sorry, something like that. Same with the run speed and smothering. I've turned those two down as well for this, just so it's as even as possible across the both sides. Same deal with these settings for the CPU. Tackle distance, hip and shoulder distance, injuries, and throwing the ball, all turned down to the same settings that I had on the user side of things. And then this last one is mostly probably the ones that are most useful, I guess, for the AI in terms of just how they generally play. So I've got there pretty much all of these turned up except for the tapping one, which only really affects soccering, because I don't think they actually tap in this one, which is way better than what it was happening in the previous game anyway, where it was just sort of slap the ball along the ground for 10 years or soccer it or whatever. I'm happy to leave that one at default. But play on I've turned up because it means that they're a little bit more likely to try and move the ball a bit quicker. Same with tackle reaction. It's how quickly they will actually pick up where you are and I think go to tackle you. So that one does maybe close the space up a little bit quicker. That's something I like to have in terms of making it harder that way, but other people might not, so you can happily leave that one at default. Pressure awareness is probably the biggest one, as well as tackler avoidance, because I felt like with these two anyway that I was getting a lot of rundown tackles, especially on Legend, and I was like, well, I probably shouldn't be. So I turned the tackler avoidance up, which makes it a little bit more difficult to tackle them. They're trying to avoid you a bit better, and same with the pressure awareness is they understand when they're about to be tackled, so they are more likely to actually kick the ball rather than be tackled by you. So they definitely do a lot more less dumb things, if that makes sense, when you turn a couple of these settings up. And I just wanted the stale man to be a little bit more lenient for the AI as well. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for all of the settings that I have on this game. Audio is completely your preference as well, same with replays. So the rest of mine are pretty much straightforward, and that's all the camera settings, slider settings, whatever that I use on Evo 2. I haven't experimented a heap with them, but they're sort of just like the basic fixes that I found were able to actually get things to work. And I know a lot of people have been asking what my sliders were, so I figured I'd just make a video on it rather than try to answer everyone individually, because it's the easiest way. Anyway, if you guys have more suggestions on what you think some of the sliders should be, if you've trialed something yourself, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Otherwise, that is all for today's video. I'll see you all later. Have a good one. Hope you're enjoying playing AFL Evolution 2. Bye.